Hello, friends. I am coming to you on my day off with no makeup on. Hair not done, just in my comfies. I have been wanting to film my first video for my YouTube for several months now, like basically since the beginning of the year. And I kept not doing it because I only wanted to film on my days off. But then that would mean I'd had to do my hair and makeup on my days off. So it just never happened. Today I went to the library, got a huge stack of books, felt like I could film, so we're just gonna do it. This is what my face actually looks like. Okay, I'm literally just gonna go through this stack. This is everything I have checked out from the library right now, just because that's what I felt like filming. So let's go. All right, so first I have On Such a Full Sea by Chang-Rae Lee. I don't really know what this is about. I just really loved the cover. It's super cool to me. I like it a lot. And I know, oh, hi Miko. I saw this on a list, I think, of Asian writers or books to read by Asian authors. Was it April? I think was a focus on reading Asian American Pacific Islander authors. So yeah, that's where this came from. Not really sure what it's about, but hopefully I get to it. Okay. Next, I have Housekeeping by Marilyn Robinson. So I actually did start this during lockdown last year, and I really liked it. It's a pretty short book. I think it's only a little over 200 pages. And this is supposed to be about two sisters who grow up in this really small town, I think in Canada. Maybe it's the US, I'm not sure. But the writing is gorgeous. I loved it. And I've heard really good things about the rest of the books by this author. So I checked it out again. I figured since it's a short read, I should be able to get through it before I become a spaz and get tempted by another book and put this one down. Next, I have Pachinko, another one that I started last year and just never finished. The issue you'll know, or you'll come to find out with me, is that I'm very much a mood reader. So it starts at the library, really. I'll see a book and I'm like, oh yeah, sure, that sounds great. And then I like to check out a huge number of books so that I have options. So then whenever I get bored of one book, then I can switch to something else that I feel like. So this I know is supposed to be amazing. Again, only have heard great things about this book. Really liked it when I started it, and just kind of dropped off the face of the earth. So I checked it out. I was shocked it was actually available on the shelf. So hopefully I get to that one as well. That kind of applies to all of these, by the way. Hopefully I get to it. Okay, next I have Imaginary Friend by Stephen Chbosky. This I know is supposed to be scary. I think a little boy goes into the woods. Maybe he gets lost for a few days, but then he comes out of the woods and he has an imaginary friend who's telling him to do things. A bit bigger than I was expecting. Let's see. I'm always scared to look at the page number because I don't want to see. 705 pages. I don't ever want to see something that would give away the ending. So yeah, that's pretty hefty, but I'm all about some good horror thrillers. Next, I have Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. This is one I have read, but I was in high school, I think, the first time I read it, and I don't really remember much about it. And I have seen the movie, like the original movie, not the new Armie Hammer one. The other one, I think 40s or 50s is when it came out. I've seen that one a couple times too. It's really gorgeous, very spooky, suspenseful. So I already know what happens, but I wanted to revisit it because it got hyped up again with the new movie coming out. So kind of a comfort read for the summer. Let's see. Next, I have A God in Ruins by Kate Atkinson. So I read Life After Life by her maybe 4 or 5 years ago and loved it. It was like gory and mysterious, but also really beautiful. And that one was a book that was about someone who's like reliving parts of their life over and over, which is a really fascinating concept to me. So this book is the kind of like the sequel, I guess, and it goes into the story of the main character from Life After Life. It's her younger brother in A God in Ruins. So I saw that, so I felt like I could read it on a whim, picked it up. Next I have Orlando by Virginia Woolf. I've only read a couple books by Virginia Woolf, but I have really enjoyed them. I know this one is supposed to be very different from her other novels because I don't know if it was originally meant to be published by Virginia Woolf because she wrote it for her friend. At least that's what my initial research on it said. So I've heard from a couple people that they really loved this, so I picked it up. Kind of sounds like it's about kind of like gender identity and like sexuality, which, let's see when this was published. 1928. So I'm intrigued. What was that like conversation like when talking about a topic like this in 1928? We shall see. Okay. Next, I have Kindred by Octavia Butler, and I hate this cover. It looks so boring. I've heard it compared to like a weird religious book cover, which I totally agree. It's a sci-fi about race and all kinds of these intense, heavy subjects, and it's sci-fi, and yet this cover looks like it's going to be a really boring, I don't even know, like not contemporary, or very like historical fiction novel that's just kind of very like bleh. But I'm really excited. This, I hope I just fly through. I'm so excited, and again, she's an author I really want to get into, so I'm going to start with Kindred. Next, I have Middlesex by Jeffrey Eugenides. Again, don't really know a lot about this book. I've just heard a lot of people say that they liked it, and I know there are some other books by this author that are supposed to be good, question mark, well known, hyped up a little bit, so we'll see. Next, I have Sabrina and Corinna. I have to look at this one for the author's name, by Kali Fajardo Onstein. I need to look up how to pronounce her name. This cover is gorgeous. I love that style of the illustration or design. And this is a collection of short stories, and I heard Noelle Gallagher talk about this book, and she said it was just beautiful and heartbreaking. I don't read a lot of short story collections, which you would think if I'm someone who's kind of a spaz about paying attention to books that I would have better luck with short stories, but they're just not really in my rotation. So we'll try that one. I'm excited for that. Next, I have Conversations with Friends by Sally Rooney. I read Normal People a couple months ago, and I loved it. Flew through it in a few hours, really felt connected to the characters and like they were real people that had, like, I felt like I was in their heads, which I love. And they felt so real that it was one of those books where after I'd finished it, I found myself thinking about them and being like, I wonder what they're up to. I wonder how they're doing. And that's a good little trick by an author when they can get you to care about people like that. So this was her first book. And I think it's kind of same idea where it's very much you're getting an intense character study. This one came out in 2017. So I've heard great things about this as well before Normal People blew up. I know a lot of people talked about this a few years ago, so I hope it's the same where I just fly through it and love it and think about the characters for a long time. Then I have another Noelle Gallagher inspiration, which is Under the Udala Trees by Shanelo Akparanta. This takes place in Nigeria, I believe, and I think it's like a coming of age story. Noelle spoke of it so highly. She said the writing was just gorgeous, and I don't know, something about the title, like Udala Trees, it's just sounds beautiful, and like, I don't know, I'm into it, just the vibe that I'm getting. So I picked that one up as well. I also am trying to focus this year on reading more authors of color. So a lot of these are falling into that category as well, where I'm trying to really expand the type of authors that I'm reading and putting in my brain. And only 2 left. I know you're shocked. Okay, this one is Transcendent Kingdom by Ya Gyasi. I love this cover too, the pink and the black, and then the like rose gold letters. I love it. I hate this sticker. Like, it's just so simple, so pretty. I would pick it up just for the cover alone. This is another author I have only heard good things about. I really need to read Homegoing by her as well. It's one that I have just not gotten around to yet and feel guilty about. This was actually available at my library, so I snagged it while I could, and I'm excited to get into that. And the last book in my stack is The Memory Police by Yoko Ogawa. Not really sure what this is about either. I think it has to do with people are having their memories altered, perhaps against their will, and there's one person who is actually able to remember things, so she's starting to be like targeted by whoever the memory people are. I have tried a few Japanese crime books and thrillers. Oh, and this author is Japanese as well. I wanted to double check before I assumed. Yeah, she's from Tokyo. So then, is this translated? Sorry, I should have done my research before I started filming. It is translated from the Japanese. Okay, so yeah, person of color, translated. We're checking things off my list of things I want to focus on. And again, always love a good thriller. And that's it. That's my current stack of library books. It's a lot. It gets a little hairy when I don't return them on time, because then those fines just stack and stack and stack and stack on each other. So I try to be really good about staying on top of that. Obviously, you can figure out I have some experience with that by what I just said. So yeah, that's the current stack. Hopefully I read even half of those. Even if I don't get to them, I might have to return them, but these are all books I would like to read, so I'll get back to them eventually if I don't get to them this time around. And yeah, that concludes this video. My first YouTube video is finally in the books. I can check it off. Hopefully next time you see me, I'm a little bit cuter. I actually put a little bit more effort into my appearance than I did today. But yeah, we broke the seal. Here I am telling you about my library addiction and my mood reading. And that's it. I scared off my cat by talking too loudly, so he's gone. There is construction going on outside, so you may have been hearing that in the background. I can't tell how much is going to be picked up by my phone. I'm not excited to listen to my own voice and look at my face while I edit this, but here we go into the foray of filming videos. So I will see you guys next time, and happy reading. Bye.